Okay, students, so today we're going to talk about English punctuation. It's something that you see a lot when you read things, so I thought it would be important to talk about today. So what does punctuation mean? So this word is pronounced punctuation, punctuation. So punctuation is the symbols or shapes that come at the end or the middle of a sentence in English. They help you understand what you are reading. So punctuation is important because it helps to show what something means or how it should be read. And so I have a few examples to talk about today. So for example, we have a period, exclamation point, quotation mark, or question mark. This is a question mark. These two little things are quotation marks, a comma, an apostrophe, a forward dash or forward slash, and a hyphen. So these sentences are a little bit different because of the punctuation they have. So this sentence, I need to take the bus. It has a period at the end. This sentence, I need to take the bus, because it has an exclamation point. I need to take the bus, it's a question. And for these ones, the quotation marks will talk about why this sentence is different. The apostrophe or the comma, this apostrophe, what that means, and this. But I'll read the sentences. I need to take the bus so I can get to work. I need to take my friend's bus. I need to take the bus and or get a ride to work. I am getting a ride from my ex-wife. So those are some of the punctuation that we're going to be going over today. So first we're going to talk about a period. A period is the small dot at the end of a sentence. It lets us know that the sentence is over. So for example, I take the bus. There's a period right here. So that means that this sentence is done. And now it's a new sentence. It was late today, period. The reason we do this in English, I'm pretty sure that it's the same in other languages as well with punctuation, is to, when you're reading or when you're writing, it's to separate ideas and to separate thoughts. So that's why we use a period. A period, it can also come at the end of an abbreviation. An abbreviation, that's what this word is, abbreviation, is a shortened word in English. So an example of an abbreviation or a shortened word is doctor. So you see how this word is just DR and it has a little period after it? That lets you know that it's a word, so it doesn't mean der, it's doctor, but it's shortened. So this means this. Doctor and this are the same. And it has the little period to let you know that it's the shortened word, the abbreviation. So that's what we use a period for. An exclamation point, this is what this is. Exclamation points tell us that the sentence is exciting, emotional, or important. So some examples of this is wash your hands or I am having a baby. So you see that we use exclamation points to show when something is important or when something is exciting. So it's to be more expressive than just a period. Like if it said wash your hands, that would be fine if it had a period at the end, or I am having a baby, period. But when you have an exclamation point, it makes it like more exciting, it makes it more emotional. Or it lets you know that what's being said is important. So that's what a exclamation point is. A question mark. Question marks show us that a sentence is a question. It also symbolizes a question. Symbol just means like a shape or, it's like a shape or like a line or something that means something else. It's just a symbol. So it symbolizes a question. So sometimes you'll see pictures on advertisements or ads that they'll have a person looking kind of thoughtful or looking like they're thinking about something and have a question mark above their head. That usually means that it's a question. And we put them at the end of a sentence to let somebody know that what we're saying is a question. So we learned how to do this with our different verb tenses, right? With present tense and present progressive, how to turn those into questions. But sometimes in English, you can say a question without making it the correct order of a question. For example, this one is, can you help me? This one has a question mark, and the words are in the order of a question, right? Instead of saying you can help me, which is a statement, it's telling somebody something. If you switch them, you and can, to say can you help me, it makes it a question. But also we know it's a question because of the question mark right here. Sometimes in English, you can say a sentence that isn't in the order of a question, but it can still be a question. So for example, I used move this. So if this happens to me a lot where somebody says, can you pick that up right there? Or can you get this for me? Or can you move that for me? And when they don't say the thing that they need to move and they just kind of point to it, I don't know what they're pointing to. So I'll like point to something and say, oh, you mean move this? And it turns into a question because I raised my voice. And when things are written, if it's a question mark, even though it's not shaped like a question, it's not in the same order as a question, it still is a question. Quotation mark. So a quotation means something somebody said or what somebody said. That's all that the word quotation means. And we use it to show when somebody else is speaking. These two little lines that come at the beginning and the end, it's like it creates a little word bubble that tells the reader that whatever is in the middle is being said by somebody else. It's not being said by the speaker. So for example, this says, leave the meat out to defrost, my mom said. So it's this, because of these little quotation marks, it means that my mom is the one that is saying this. Or, I like the soup here. And then it'll have like this little line that's called a hyphen and customer, the word customer. You see this on advertisements or online when you look up a restaurant. It means that a customer, whoever that is, said this. Anything that's in between these little symbols here means that it's being said by somebody else. And most of the time, at the end of the sentence or before the sentence, it will tell you who is saying it. So that's what a quotation mark does. Okay, so our next one is a comma. Commas separate ideas that cannot be their own sentence or help us separate lists. So, for example, I need to take the bus, and then we have a little comma here, so I can get to work. So the reason we have a comma here is because it's connecting this part of the sentence to this part of the sentence, but telling us that they're different thoughts. So this person is saying, I need to take the bus so I can get to work. So it helps us separate things. So you'll see it a lot to separate thoughts or a sentence. It also, you use it to make lists. So like this one, I will buy milk, and then we have a comma, eggs, another comma, chips, another comma, and salsa. So you could say, I will buy milk, eggs, chips, and salsa. In English, you could write that. But when you're reading it, some people won't know that milk and eggs and chips and salsa are all separate things. So that's why we use it to separate the things that are on the list. So that's why we use a comma. An apostrophe looks like a comma, but it's up at the top of like words and letters. So we use the apostrophe, that's how you say the word apostrophe, to show when letters are taken away or when something belongs to somebody. So for example, the word don't, it has a little apostrophe. It has the little line right here. And that's to show us that there are words in between the N and the T, because don't is the same as do not. We just put it together. So I don't take the bus. The apostrophe is showing us that it means do not, because there is some letters that are taken away with the apostrophe. Or it is my friend's car. This apostrophe, when we say apostrophe and an S, it lets us know that this, whatever it's attached to, means that whatever follows the thing is, whatever the thing that they're talking about, it belongs to this person. Like my brother's children. The children belong to my brother because there's an apostrophe S. And also real quickly, so this word's kind of hard. I think it's French. I'm not sure, but it's not. It's a word that the English speakers took from another language. So that's why we say apostro, and then the PH makes a f sound like an F. Apostrophe. So that's why it sounds that way. It's a little bit confusing. But that's what an apostrophe does, is it shows that something belongs to somebody, or it shows us that there are some letters taken away. So it creates one word instead of two words. Another example is can't, or won't, or isn't, or I'm. All of those use apostrophes. So a forward slash. The forward slash connects words and means and, or the word or. It puts them together. So and or are linking words, right? And means together. And the word or means it's one thing and then it's another thing, but it's not necessarily both. It isn't both. But you see this a lot with instructions for things. So for example, what I did is use this to clean / sanitize. It means, oh, I forgot the E right there. Hold on, let me fill that in. I made a mistake. I always try and read these and correct them, and then sometimes I miss every single time. Okay, so this says use this to clean and or sanitize. But instead of saying and or in the sentence, see how this sentence is longer? People just put a dash, a forward slash right here to just mean and or. It means use this. So for example, if you had like a bottle and it said use this to clean and or sanitize, it means this cleans and sanitizes, or it can clean or sanitize. Remember that or, when people say and or, it just means you can do this one, or you can do the other one. Or if it says and, it means you can do this with this. So it's a little confusing. I'm not explaining it very well. Or another example is you need to bring ID and or proof of residency. This is something that you see on instructions a lot. So it just means you need to bring identification and or proof of residency. So usually when it says this, if you see this, it means you need to bring identification and proof of residency. So that's what that means. A hyphen, that's this little symbol right here. Hyphens connect words together, or connect numbers, connect times, or connect numbers. So that's what the hyphen does. For example, part-time employee, there's a hyphen in here because it's connecting the word part and the word time together to mean part-time employee. If you just said part-time, it just would mean this word part and this word time. But when you use a hyphen to bring them together, it means that it changes the meaning of the word. We know that part-time employee means that they work less than, I think, 30 hours or less than 20 hours. Less than 20 hours is a part-time employee. You can use it to put between numbers, and it just means the word to. Like, I work from 8 to 6. If you put a little hyphen, it just means to. 8 to 6. Or the bus runs from 8 to 6. That's all the hyphen means. And for this one, these are dates, 2007 and 2014. From 2007 to 2014. That's what the little hyphen means. Again, it just means to. Or the hyphen can mean through, like Monday through Friday. Instead of having to write through, we just put a hyphen here, and it just is Monday through Friday. So I have some more symbols and things to show you. I wanted to show you this real quickly, that in English, you can write things, the letters, in different ways, and sometimes they don't look the same as the very basic way. So for example, when you see letters, this is an A, right? It's a lowercase a, a small a. It can look like this sometimes, like it looks like it has a little hat on it. This is the same thing as this. These both are just little A's. They're not different kinds of A's. It doesn't mean it makes a different sound. They're the same thing. And G can also look like this little squiggly thing, right? So this letter is the same as this letter. Doesn't mean it makes a different sound. It just is written in a different way. So this symbol right here means and. It means and. And you can use it in between. Instead of writing A and D, people will say milk and eggs, and they'll write this little symbol because it's quick and easy to write. So that's what that means. This little A in a circle means at. So sometimes people will write it meet at 4 o'clock, or it will be in emails. Like for example, like somebody's email would be like my name at gmail.com. It's just a symbol that means at. This right here means number. It also can mean hashtag because of Twitter and things like that. People use it as a hashtag. That's what they call it. But mostly when you see this, it's going to mean number, like social security number. And instead of writing out number, they just put the symbol, social security number. This symbol right here, I know you all know this one, but I put it in here anyways. This is the symbol for the dollar, which is the money that we use in the United States, is we use dollars. So instead of saying 10 and then putting the word dollars at the end, we just put the symbol before it, and it just means $10. The little cross sign means positive, plus, or and. So for example, you can use it in math, like 1 plus 1. It means that you're putting the two together. It also means that it's positive, meaning like yes or good, or when you're speaking English, or it means it's a positive number, which means that it's not below 0. That's for like math and stuff. Or you can use it for an and symbol, kind of like this symbol. This one means and. People use this as and as well because it means plus, so it means together. So meat and cheese. It can be an and. These two lines means equals. So that just means the same as. So people use this in math, like 1 plus 1 equals 2. Or it can just mean the same as, like do not is the same as don't. These two mean the same thing. So it's just a quick little way to write the same as. So that's what that is. The last one I'm going to talk about is called an asterisk. So an asterisk is this little star, and it comes at the top of things. So I'm showing an example because you see this a lot in advertisements, and it's important to notice these. So you see that this is an ad for like cars, and you'll see that there's like this 0% for like 60 months or whatever, and then it has this little asterisk. that means that there is more information that you need to look at. So you go down to where the little asterisk is, or like where the small writing is, and it will tell you like important information that they don't want to put up here. It's kind of a sneaky way to trick you. So if you ever see an asterisk, you see this little star symbol on a sign, make sure that you find it. You find the small writing, or the writing, it'll have the little asterisk, and then it will have the little asterisk sign somewhere at the bottom with writing next to it. Make sure you read that, because people use it to trick people to buy things. So that's it for today. Let me know if you have any questions.